Hey there, Heartbreaking Talks here. Today we have 5 stories to discuss and we need your advice for each one of them. So let's get started. So, story 1. Hi everyone, I'm new here and just looking for some support, I guess. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, to be honest. Here's my story in short. I met my wife, 39F, when we were both 17 and we had a childhood romance. We got married at 28, bought a house, had our first child at 29, and our second at 31. We had a great relationship with a great sex life and we had no problems until we were 37. However, over time, my wife became different and although the physical side of our relationship was still there, she started doing things without me. This went on for a year and my family kept insisting that she had changed a lot and that she might be having an affair, but I was 100% certain that it was not possible. I even asked her about it and she laughed it off with me. Eventually, the little things built up on me and I hacked into her Google account even though I knew she couldn't be having an affair. However, what I found shattered my world. She had been having an affair with a colleague for 2 years and they had recently split up because she had cheated on him with someone else she had met. I confronted her on the day I found out and reacted very badly. I got her parents to pick up the kids, tore up our wedding album, and scattered it across our kitchen, then waited for her to come home. She broke down, cried, and ultimately blamed me. I left and didn't return home for 2 weeks. I feel a lot of shame for my behavior, as I should have been there for the kids, but I heavily turned to alcohol. When I went back, I found out she was still texting the new guy she had met. I begged her to stop and give our marriage a chance, which was the lowest point of my life. She left for a week and stayed with a close friend of both of us, then came home and had blocked the guy she was talking to. I told her then that I needed full disclosure and she said she had been in such a haze for a long time that she knew there were other drunken flings but couldn't say who when, which was infuriating. She went to the doctor and was diagnosed with depression and medicated for it. Since then, she has been more like her old self, but I have really struggled with forgiveness, so I moved out of the family home into my own place, still paying the mortgage. My end goal is to reconcile with her because she's the love of my life, but I don't know if I'm being a complete fool. Story 2. I found out that my wife, whom I've been with for 10 years and am expecting my second child with in July, cheated on me last spring. She slept with 2 ex-boyfriends and a co-worker in May. One of the ex-boyfriends and her continued seeing each other up until July. She is now threatening to come after me for child support and keeping the kids from me if I file for divorce. I have a decent, high-paying job, and she has only worked part-time for various employers over the years, never having any job longer than 6 months in our time together. I have been in the same career field for 17 years now. I do most of the cooking and cleaning around the house, I plan all our kids' events, and she mainly works a couple of hours and just smokes weed and plays on her phone on the couch nowadays. I feel trapped now, and I see the horror stories of men having their children taken from them because the system is stacked against men, and she knows this is something I have always been anxious about as we got married and started having kids. She assured me that she wasn't like those women as she was raised by her single father and saw what he went through dealing with her mother. My family means everything to me and I don't know where to go from here. I feel humiliated and ashamed that this happened to me. My wife says she's sorry and feels like a pose over it and it will never happen again because, in her words, she's learned her lesson, but I don't think she really cares. My friends, subordinates at work and family are aware of the situation, which makes it worse. I don't want to be a part-time or weekend dad. I had my kids because I wanted to be a father and never miss anything. I never told my wife no, never put a hand on her in anger, made sure she always had the things she wanted, newer cars, vacations, 6-bedroom house. But she cheated on me with 3 guys that every single one of them lives with their moms in the trailer park, one works at Family Dollar, the other 2 are unemployed in their 30s. I don't get it. She cheats, ruins our family, and if I want to leave, I'll lose everything. She's got a baby shower planned in May and expects me to pay for it. All my friends and family are in disbelief. I don't know what to do. Story 3. I, 28M, know how it sounds, but hear me out. My wife, 28, cheated on me via an online game. Last year, we converted our home office into her game room. She bought a gaming PC and started playing a role-play game through GTA Online. For those who don't know, you role-play as a specific character in that virtual society. You can play as a cop, gang member, etc., and other people coordinate to play other roles. Anyways, it all started when she played at all hours of the night. It got to the point where she would stay up all night and sleep all day. Our only interaction was me waking up as she went to sleep. I tried to confront her about it, but she insisted I had nothing to worry about. It kept getting worse for months. No intimacy, no conversation, even though I tried. Every time I tried to bring up the subject, she would just say that I am overreacting. Insert a huge career opportunity. I got offered a job in a different city and leaned towards taking it, but I wanted to discuss it with her first. She accused me of being selfish and not thinking about her and not supporting. One day, as she was sleeping, I went into her PC and what I saw shook me to my core. Long conversations with various guys talking about the way she made them feel and that she wanted to meet them soon. Photos being shared, texts, everything. I was devastated. I took the day, went out for a drive to clear my head, and thought about how I was going to approach the situation because I did not want to be furious when I confronted her. I went back home and showed her the pics of the conversation I saw in her Discord account. She blamed me for it. She said that she did nothing wrong and that I am overreacting because she never acted on her conversation with these guys. She then said she wanted a divorce as soon as possible. For the first time in our 7-year marriage, I said yes, got up, and left the house. She came out to my truck running and crying, begging me not to leave. I said that until she admitted what she did wrong, I wouldn't consider it. She refused, and I left. 4 days later, she called and admitted everything and recognized it was infidelity. I came back, but I am unsure of how to proceed. Any advice? Update. I called back to see if the job was still available. I explained to the hiring manager that I didn't consider certain aspects of the change, but that I cleared them up. I start in 2 weeks. I'm going to make 6 figures. Still on the fence about the divorce, honestly. I need a little more time to process. Story 4. My wife and I have been married for 10 years and we have 2 kids, 9 and 6, together. I am 35 and my wife is 36. So last year, I had some suspicion about my wife being a bit dodgy as she was very secretive with her phone. She would always flip it over when I come near her and she never left it laying around. I grew suspicious and one night she went to a friend's place to do some school reports. She is a school teacher and I asked her if she was cheating on me with another teacher at her school. I thought she was with the other guy that night. Well, she blew up at me and yelled how dare I accuse her of something like that and if I don't trust her, then we don't even have a relationship. I felt like the biggest piece of shit in the world. I was still suspicious and a few weeks later, I caught her sexting a work colleague on Facebook Messenger in which she mentioned that they had hooked up. When I confronted her, she said that they only hooked up once and that was it. She blocked him on Facebook at my request. We agreed to work on our relationship and we are making more time for each other. But they were still messaging each other about school stuff until I blew up and said that's not on either and she stopped responding to them. She has since tried to be transparent and I have not heard or seen anything dodgy from her since, as she is trying to be open with me. The problem I have now is trust. I keep going over in my head how I don't even know the extent of her cheating. She lied directly to my face to hide her cheating and she still has to work with the guy. She says that she doesn't interact with him at all, but I know she would still have to. I just can't trust her. Whatever she says, I always come back to her willingness to lie to get out of trouble and her willingness to hurt me so much for her own good. What should I do? Story 5. Hi all. In 2017, I found out that my wife had an emotional affair, which she eventually confessed to. She claimed they only kissed for a year, but I find it hard to believe that they cheated for a year and only kissed. I can't imagine feeling attracted to someone but not going any further than kissing. They secretly drove to work together while I thought she was taking the train, worked out at the same gym, went motorcycling together, and she even invited him to our home several times while I was there and he shook my hand and acted friendly while I knew nothing. We filed for divorce, but after a few months, she changed her mind and wanted to stay with me. I agreed but only with some rules set up. Over the next few years, I asked her about the affair more than 20 times and she kept saying they only kissed. Somehow, my gut feeling tells me she's lying, but I cannot prove anything. About a year ago, when I asked her about it again, she told me that the guy ended up stalking her and being a terrible person. This makes me feel like I'm her second choice, that she only came back to me once she realized he was bad news, but she didn't tell me this when she wanted me back. Now, fast forward almost 6 years, we have 2 sons, 4 and 1 years old, and I feel responsible for keeping our family together. Does anyone have any advice on how I can move on from this and not have second thoughts about it almost every week and the occasional nightmares I get about her cheating? Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to these stories. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, so please feel free to leave a comment below. Your feedback means a lot to me and will help me improve my content. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to my channel for more. I look forward to sharing more stories with you soon. Thank you again for your support.